Talat has joined. What's up, Bob? Kwame, how have you been, like, vaccinated?
Everything's okay.
Everything is okay? Cool, cool.
J'ai mon iPad qui charge. À ça, quand c'est fort que ça, tu peux le.
We what do? Okay.
Oh, BSQ. Long time ago.
So you like this exercise, right?
It's a good one. It's a good one. Depends how you decide to do it. There is a multiple. There is like multiple way to manage it. Okay. So the idea here is okay. Let's read this. This is an algorithm project. Okay, you may find the largest possible square on a board. It is the first line contains the number of lines of the board, blah, blah, blah. Representing the obstacle. Okay. So this is a very good exercise because depending how you decide to do it, there is like a multiple complication with that exercise. So first, how is Kazakhstan? Everybody's okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Talgat, you okay?
Yeah, fine.
Ah, okay. And it's an exercise that is very, very good because if you read about it, it's quite a well-known exercise. Okay, so you can find, my guess, you can find a lot of different algorithms about how to manage it. Anyway, in the hint here, they give you like some insight about the project. So you have like multiple ways to approach that exercise, and I think one of the good one is is really to start by having something that works and then optimize it. So it's how to explain that. So in coding, usually we say that, okay? We say like, first you do some things that work, and secondly, you're gonna optimize it. So so you should never be ashamed first to do some things that work, and then only afterwards, okay, you try to think about what you have do and see if there is like something that is more optimized than what you did to run the program. So the program has to print the board. Watch out for memory leak. Okay. Let's see, like 1,000 by 1,000. 10, blah, blah, blah. We are looking for speed, memory optimization, and code architecture. Okay. So the most difficult in coding is, I think, like where you have a lot of things to learn is about like code architecture. It's very difficult, straightforward, to have an idea of how you're going to manage something like directly with a good way. It's almost impossible. The best to do that is Gaëtan. He's way better than me. Okay, and this requires a lot of hours, years of coding experience to be able to find the good code architecture straightforward. So I would like to say, like, for you, maybe the best way is to have a kind of a naive approach. So first you do some things that work, and secondly, you're gonna try to optimize it, okay? I don't think there is so they are talking about Bitfields, dynamic programming, OOP in C. Okay, so I see what Gaëtan is looking for. So basically, is asking you to start to have a mindset of the object-oriented programming and how to do like object-oriented programming in C. So as you may know, the first version of C++ come from C. Okay, so basically, you can do object-oriented programming in C, roughly. It is not optimized for. It's not necessarily a good idea, but it's a good way to have a good understanding how to manage that. So how you do that? My guess you are all familiar with pointer over functions. Okay, so the first step is like to create methods, this kind of things. So you can imagine a class as a kind of a structure, and inside the structure you can call the method by using like pointer over functions, okay? And it's exactly usually how does it work to do this kind of things. So you can see it here, like for example, this is an example of a guys like doing a class in C. So how he does this? So it's a linked list he's building. And inside, he creates a pointer over functions, okay? That is called destroyed, append, prepend, traverse, okay? And basically, when he's gonna initialize it, he's gonna make those pointer point on the function he has wrote. So you see, he has the function that he has wrote here, okay? And somewhere here, okay? So when he calls list, he has to create the variable list.new, which is the address of new. And new is somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere for sure.
It's like 70 first row. Ah, okay.
Okay. So it can co-list by list.new. List.new is a structure. Here is a list class where it's got list and it point list on the address of new, and new is just here. Okay. And when you do a new, what it does, like basically, he say like its variable pointer over function, he makes a pointing directly to the good function he wants to use. And then afterwards, of course, it's easy. You can use prepend, append, this kind of things. Okay. So I think most of you have done like some programming before. And I think you all of you have done some C++, because I know like you like C++ in Kazakhstan, which is a good idea. It's a very good language. And you see, you can use it like that. So here, the idea is instead of manipulated functions and things like that, the idea is like try to start to think like really like object and manipulating your different objects for that project. The second one is dynamic programming. Oh, Epitech. So we start Epitech in 1998. So just for information, like this is an old exercise, but it's a good one. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So this is an algorithm that you can use to find the larger square directly. So I have nothing to say about it. You should like do some research about that algorithm, try to understand how does it work. This is a huge optimization that you can have to find the. So you have the naive way, okay? So we're gonna talk about it later on. But roughly, this is an optimized algorithm to find the largest square. Just for information, BSQ is the kind of exercise you can have if you want to go to Google. Typically, this is the question you have at Google, and you must be able to answer it, okay? And using dynamic programming and shows these kind of things. Do not code in C, because it would be a huge mistake if you code in C during a technical interview. But just for information, it's the kind of exercise you must be able to do in 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes maximum time, okay? And last, they are talking about bit fields. Okay, we're gonna discuss about the bit field afterwards. I think it's a good thing for me to introduce to, and we're gonna do like because you want me to code a bit, I know, but you know that I will not build the exercise for you, so I have to code something. And dynamic programming, there is nothing specific about that. But bit fields, we can play a bit with them to show you some couple of things. Okay. So I already wrote some so roughly in the idea, I receive this, and the output is is that. Okay. And for example, the output is that. So the first thing like you have to understand is like it's really important for you when you do this kind of exercise, take some habits. Take some habits, and a good habit is to write like some example of what's happening, okay, to be able to understand how you're going to tackle the exercise. So you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 different example for each time you're going to face an exercise. Even the exercise that we ask you to do on the exercise section of Upskill, it's a good idea if you can start to write each time like, okay, what's going to be my input, what's going to be my outputs, and do not forget that you want to see where are the limits, okay? So each time you say like, okay, let's say my input is this, what should be my output? What happens if there is no input at all? All these kind of things, okay? So each time you do not forget about the limits. So the smallest limit should be described, I guess, maybe. There is always a bit like was line. Each line is terminated by \n, okay? But for example, there is no maximum amount of line. So maybe you're gonna have like a test with a board of 100K line by 100K column. So of course, this lead, you see what I mean, to when asking to yourself this kind of question, you're gonna be able to see what kind of approach you want to have for the exercise. Do not forget that tomorrow, when you're going to face an interviewer, for example, for a whiteboard interview, it's exactly what you have to ask him. Okay, the guy ask you to create that matrix. Do not forget to ask him, okay, is there like a minimum size? Oh yes, at least you have one. Okay, is there a maximum one? And the guy is going to answer to you something like, oh yeah, maximum it's like, let's say 30 by 30. It's a very good information, because if you have a maximum of 30 by 30, maybe you don't have to to manage the memory the same way. Okay, maybe you can just do an allocation of 30 by 30 at the beginning, and you clean. So you see what I mean? You have like all these kind of things, this kind of information you should have when you're going to start it. Okay. So so from that, let's talk a bit about so now let's talk a bit about, I think, bit fields, because I'm not sure you have been you have faced this. So okay, so the naive approach to the exercise is to say like basically, okay, we can reduce this to have like when you receive the board, we can say we have a 0, we have a 0, we have a 1, we have a 0, we have a 0. No, the first line is 100%. Okay, we can have 0, 1. Okay. So we know we have something like that, where of course 1 are the small o, or you can directly say like you have a o. The board looks like exactly this, and those are kind of strings. okay, a string array, and you manipulate them. So we're going to talk quickly about like what could be the algorithm to solve the issue. Well, it's easy. Huh? The most naive algorithm is to be here and to go there, to go down here and see there is an obstacle. You cannot go for it. So you know you have to jump to the next one, and you do that like recursively, for example, until you find the largest one. And you have the largest one. Okay, why not? I think it's a naive approach. If you start to use like large, very large boards, you're going to see like it's very slow because you have it's a square algorithm. So, not square. How to say that in English? I don't remember, but whatever. So it's an algorithm which has a lot of complexity, and in the exercise, they say like they are looking for optimization of speed and memory. So for the speed, there is a dynamic programming approach which goes really fast that I will let you discover. And let's talk a bit about memory optimization. So two approaches here that I wrote. Here we have somewhere okay, something like that. You can imagine for our matrix. Okay, or we can have like directly the usage here of the character. Okay. And we can, of course, imagine to have like, because it's a kind of a matrix, you're going to have something like that. Okay, well, so I think you understand what I'm doing. Okay. So the question here is, if we are talking about memory optimization, the question here is to ask to ourselves, what is the size of a board in both representation here? Okay. So it's a 5 by 5. So basically, it's 25 by the size of char, and the second one here Okay. And so what is the size of an integer? So an integer is 4. So it's 25 by 4. And what is the size of a char? It's 1. Just for information, by definition in a system, a char has always a size of 1. If you manipulate chars that are 16 bits long, the size of char is going to be 1. It's okay. I don't care so much about it, but it's just for information. So of course, this is 25, and this is 100. Okay. So we can directly see that it's more optimized to use an array of char, a matrix of char, than to use a matrix of integer. Okay. So now, and it's quite a lot, the difference. Huh? We win like by 4 times. It's a really good, very good optimization. So now, what we can use is like we can use like bit fields. So what is a bit field? So if I take an integer, so if I take a char, let's take a char. So a char is 8-bit long. It's an 8-bit long word. Okay, so I'm going to use it this way. So, for example, if I write char C equal 1, okay, this is going to be the result. Okay, if I write, so let's say, okay, and now if I write like char C equal 2, okay, it's going to look like that. You agree about this? So somewhere, okay, if I write like, for example, that, but this looks like that, you see? But the difference is like in terms of size, I'm using just 5 chars. So the size of this now is just 5. So now I jump from 100, for example, the naive approach using 1 and 0 to a size of 5. You just gain by 20. Okay, so that's huge. Okay, and it looks like the same thing. So this is what we call a bit field. And the question is here, like, how do you manipulate bit fields? How you position one, these kind of things inside the bit fields. Okay, so it's exactly what we're gonna do. So how to approach this? let's start by doing. So instead of manipulating, okay. So I'm going to use like here, I'm going to use, instead of using chars, I'm going to use like integers directly. And unsigned one means like the first year count. So I'm going to use like bit fields that are big like those. So first approach. Ooh. So this print one, okay? So here what we have is like is something like that, okay? Okay. So now I'm going to introduce to you some operators. So the first operator we're going to see, I even don't know how you call them in English. So it's going to be the move left operator. So what does it mean? It means like I take the bit 1, okay, and I move it left one time. So you take your number and you're going to move it left. So what does it mean? I had like 0, for example, at the beginning, okay, and I move 1 to the left one time. So I put it here. So this should print me 1. No, 2, excuse me, because the first on the bit field is 0. Okay, so you start to count at 0. So it means like you can move when you create the board, and for example, you want to put this one, which is at position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of easy. You move it by 4. And then, of course, it wrote me 16 because I'm in deep. So the idea here is like we're going to do a small function to print our bit field. So it looks like exactly like a bit field. Okay. So, so the question is how we're going to do that. So the idea is we can create like from the operator, you can create also like operation between like bit fields. So for example, most common operation are are OR, okay, XOR. You have like many operations you can have. I will let you discover them. It's like just logical operation as usual. So for example, if I do so what should be the answer for this? Does someone has an idea? I don't know if I can see the messages.
It should be 2.
Okay, so basically you have that one, and we have that one. So what is the operation? The operation is like you take those two and you do and excuse me, between them. 0 and 0 is 0, 0 and 1 is 0, 0 and 0 is 0, 0, 0. So this should be 0. You see? You do it like bit by bit. Okay? And of course, if I have this, okay, the operation is going to be 1. It's going to be 16. You see?
Yes.
So you can make match between the different operator. If you want to put so for example, I have a num2 like that, and I want to transform it like this, okay? I can do like something like num2 so now I do a OR, okay? And the OR of those two operations are 0 or 0 is 0, 0 or 1 are 1, 0 or 0 are 0. Excuse me, and here it's 0. Okay, so the result is going to be that. Okay, which is going to be 16 plus 2, which should be 18. Okay, so you have like plenty of operation you can do. So you have like shortcut to write that. You can do this. Okay, like I++ or okay, so you can use this kind of operators. So you see, like this way, you're going to be able, okay, to manipulate the bits on your board and be able to move them. So now let's do something like slightly more complicated. Okay, so let's say now we have, so the idea is like I want to printf out the output 110100001 like that, okay? So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to start, so I have a number, which is in that case, like, for example, this one. Okay. And I want to print it. So this is my input. And my output is like, I want to print it like 0. Okay, let's say I want to print it this way. You see what I mean? So how I'm going to do that? So I'm going to take my, so the idea is like from left to right, I have to do a loop and to understand if it's a 0 or if it's a 1. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is like, I'm going to create a mask which going to be equal to that at the beginning. Okay? And then I'm going to loop and move the 1 to here to test with the number. If it's a 0, I print the 0. If it's not a 0, I print a 1. Okay? And so on. So the first step is to put 1 on the left, completely left side of the number. So does someone has an idea how to do this? So I take 1, okay, and I'm going to move it to the full left part of the number. So basically, I need to know the size of that. Oh. Okay, I multiplied it by 8 because this is the number of bits, and I just remove 1. Okay, so this is the largest unsigned number without all the 1, but you see what I mean? My bit is fully on the left. So now I'm going to move the mask for each part of the mask. And now each time I'm going to move the mask to the left by 1. Okay? It's super easy. Okay? I move the bit 1 of the mask each time to the left, 1 time by 1. And after, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print each time. Okay? So what I'm going to print, so let's say I'm use num1 and the mask. Okay? So what's going to happen here? Okay? What is doing? We print nothing. Sorry. It's just U or D? I don't remember for printf. Okay. Okay, I see. I will have to replace with something. Okay, because it's non-printable character. Ah, much better. Okay. So you see, so you can manipulate this way the table, the map, the array. If you want, so we have a good way now to print what we are doing. So what I can do, I said to you like, oh yes, sorry, it's not plus. What I'm gonna do is like, I'm just gonna do, even we can do that. Up. Okay, so if I want to do my second line of the array, which is this one, okay, I can do this way. Okay, you see? So now the question for you is like, how I'm going to manage a matrix because I don't know the size right now. What's going to happen if I have like so until you are under the size of 4 by 8, like 32 by 32, you can just use like ints this way. Okay, so you have so you have a map. And basically, the question is like, okay, so now let's say like instead of this, we have something that is really huge. Something which is like that. It's going to be like a lot of, okay. So this is like, because this is one integer, this is a second integer, and so on. Okay, so how you create your matrix in memory using the different bit fields. It's a good question. So it's not very complicated, and in fact, it's kind of easy. Well, I give you the technique because I love you, and you don't have to search for it, but it's not very difficult. So you have, so let's say you want to do a matrix which is like, I don't know, like 2 by 16 or something like that. So when you count the number of integer from left to right, you have 2 here, and you have 1 integer per line. And this for 64 lines. So the size in terms of unsigned integer is 2 by 64. Okay. I'm going to keep the. It's going to be too big to print. Well, instead of doing 2 by 64, because we're going to see nothing, let's say I'm going to do, because it's exactly the same, I'm going to do a matrix of 2 by 5. Okay. So basically, it's going to be this. So this is my matrix I want to print. And I want to use, of course. So I'm doing a 2 by 4, a 2 by 5, excuse me. And finally, the question we have is like, how do I get access to map, let's say IG? Okay, I want to get access to this. And can define I don't know, equal to, let's say 0 and let's say 0. Okay. So my question is like, let's say I want to put 1 exactly here, 0 by 0. And somewhere, what you want to access is my I by G. So when I do this, what I do, okay? So I allocate a big chunk of memory from a certain point to a size of 10 by the size of an integer, which is 4 by 8, 32, okay? Straightforward. And the question is like, so this looks like in memory, that's a good things first. We're gonna mem set to 0 that B0 is what it's string.h. It seems to be okay. So basically, you have to transform IG to an offset. Okay? So that's roughly the question, where I have to go in memory, because in fact, this in memory is like that right now. It's just a straightforward. Okay, it's just a straightforward chunk of data. So it's easy. Okay, if you want to put one, it's just a map of 0. So okay. So do not forget that this is an integer. Okay, so you have to move. You have to move something here. Okay, before doing the allocation. So the question is like, you will have to calculate the offset, okay, before doing it. So to be sure that you are on the good integer, and then from the integer, you will have to set the correct bit where you want to when you want to set it. Okay, so it's basically that's the job. So how to do that? It's not like very complicated, because in fact, when you really think about it, so this is the first line, this is the second line. So first, when you have like G, you have to set to the good integer by just multiplying the number of line you are looking for. So you remember you said like each line is two integer. So you have this in memory somewhere. And this 2 by G, okay, put you directly to the good integer. So let's say you are looking for I don't know, like 56 by 3, okay? So the line 3 is offset 2 by G. So you are at 2 by G. So G, I said like it's 3. So you go to 3. So this is the first one. Okay, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So somewhere, difficult to see, but so this is the first one, the second one, the third one, and then you go to you have to go to 56. Okay. So how to go to 56? You do the same thing. You need to know which integer you're going to manipulate. If it's the first integer, which is here, or if it's the second one. To do that, it's very easy. You just have to do a modulo, okay? And from that, you're going to know exactly where you are or not. So you divide because the size so you take I and you divide it by the size of an unsigned int, okay, which is the one you are looking for. Unsigned int. Divide by 8. Okay, so this is going to lead you to the good integer directly. And from that integer, okay, you just have to how to say that, to decide where you're gonna go, which is basically the same exercise, divide by. So you have the line, and you transform that to the offset, and from the offset you are able to print it or to manipulate it, as I said, using like the different mask. I have no idea if I was very clear with you. Do you have like any question?
Alan has question. Or Talgat, I think. Yeah.
I cannot see the question. I don't know why I don't see the message. I don't know why. It's because I share my screen, maybe. What's happened if I stop screen? Yeah, I get access to the size.
Okay. Yeah, so it's very difficult. My memory, my brain memory leak. Okay. So as far as I understand that I will not understand from first time, right? Okay, okay.
It was too complicated? No. Yes? Sorry.
How about you, Talgat? How it was for you?
I'm trying to digest the information still. Detailed concept is quite easy, but how to use it in the task.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
So yeah, like software engineering track, like, and projects are like so much difficult indeed. It's not like data science or full stack bullshit.
It's not you should train yourself. Just try to manipulate. I think the thing that brought like a lot of confusion is when I have had like multiple it's what I think, when I have had like multiple integer or looking for the offset and this kind of things. Okay, so maybe I should have not done it. So just try to focus right now on how to manipulate. So imagine, okay, so first try to create your program using these bit fields, okay? And do not care right now about something that's going to be larger than an unsigned int, okay? First, okay, do it by step, okay? So, so if I share my screen, okay, here, okay, just imagine the maximum size you're going to face is something like that. You see what I mean, okay? And then from that, I see the comments. And from that, okay, try to build your try to build what you have to build, and you're going to see the extension from that to what I have shown just before is just going to be really easy.
I hope.
Very easy.
Bellissimo.
The software engineering track is not easy.
Yeah, we understood it.
I received this order from your boss. It's because Yarnour told me you have to bring them something that is difficult. They are really good. I said, okay. And you know what? It's the first exercise of season 2. Huh? It's
Yes. It's a very first project. I mean, Bootcamp Ruby is not counted.
Okay. So if I have question, I'm on the Zulip chat. Okay.
Okay.